Hey guys, my name's Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have a Lenovo Legion Pro 5i. This is the 16-inch or the Gen 9 version. I'm going to show you how to open it up and access your heatsink assembly. This will include your fans, your heat sinks, access to your CPU, GPU area in case you're trying to get thermal paste in there. I'll show you all that in this video. So first thing guys, power down the computer the correct way. Make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're going to then flip it over to access the bottom case. So you have 10 screws. You got these 4 along the bottom half, these 4 along the top, and these 2 in the middle. After removing all of those screws, you're going to take a small, flat, preferably plastic pry tool. I say plastic because metal pry tools are definitely going to scratch up your case a lot more than a plastic one will. So take your plastic pry tool, probably best to start up here, and pry off, go around the seam and pry off that bottom case. Go nice and slow but firm. Don't put the pry tool too far in. You could damage some internal components, but be nice and firm, go all the way around. And if you get stuck in one section, just leave it, go around to the other side and continue from the other direction. After you get your bottom case off, this is what we're looking at for the inside of your computer. As a quick side point, guys, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, I have it sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to help you avoid damaging things in your computer when you're working on it. If you guys need any help with any tools or supplies for your computer project, there'll be a link above. I'll also have it below in the description. It'll show you some tools and supplies that I use in my shop. Now, before I do anything in a computer, I always either remove or at least unplug the battery. It makes it safer to work on the other components. Now, here's the battery here across the bottom of the screen. There are 5 screws that are holding this battery down. You got 2 here, 2 down here near the bottom, and one is actually hidden underneath this metal guard for one of your solid state drives. It's underneath there. So you've got to take off this shield for your solid state drive first. There's 3 screws in it, one here on the right, here down bottom left, and here up near the fan. Once you get that shield off, you'll be able to access that screw right in there. After taking the screws out of your battery, there's the battery plug right here. Some of you may see this black piece of tape on it. Just peel that back and you'll be able to wiggle that out of that port. As with most things in a computer, try not to pull on the wires if you can help it, but just manipulate that plug. So put your fingernails on either side of the plug or a pry tool maybe and wiggle that out of that port is the best way other than pulling on the wires. Okay, so now that the battery has been removed or unplugged, it's safe to proceed deeper into the computer. Your heatsink assembly is right up here. You got your fan here, your fan on this side, a massive heatsink assembly that goes over your CPU, your GPU, your vid card, and all the other components that entails. So it's a pretty big heatsink assembly up here. So I'll zoom in on that a little for you. Okay, so here's a straight 90-degree angle view of your heatsink assembly. So to get your fans out, if you notice, there's a screw here and a screw here, 2 screws on each fan to get your fan out. But they plug into the motherboard. This one plugs in right there, straight down into the motherboard. And this one plugs in here, same way, straight down into the motherboard. And again, instead of pulling on wires, pull on the plug. And that especially applies to fans because the wires are so thin and so breakable. So use your fingernails on either side, use a pry tool or a pair of pliers because it's straight down, but you can unplug it that way. And then once you get your fans out, you can blow them out, vacuum them out, whatever you're in here to do. I assume you're trying to clean it out. But if you want to get deeper into the heatsink, you're going to notice these 3 screws over here, these 3, and then you'll notice these 4 above this section of the heatsink assembly. And that's how you would remove your heatsink assembly. And again, it's over your CPU, GPU, vid card, all the memory and storage that entails there. And there's thermal paste all over all of those components. So if you guys are here to reapply thermal paste, maybe it's a little old, or maybe you want some higher quality thermal paste on there, there will be a video link above. I'll also have it below in the description. It'll be a quick tutorial on how to reapply thermal paste. You want to make sure you clean all the old stuff off. You don't want to put new paste on top of old paste. So clean all the old stuff off. And then when you're reapplying the new stuff, don't put too much on or it could actually trap heat in instead of aiding it in leaving. Also, another good thing to remember is there are cheap thermal pastes and expensive thermal pastes, so they're not all created equal. In the link that I mentioned earlier with the tools and supplies, I'll also include in that all the replacement parts for this computer, including a couple different thermal paste options for you guys to look at. So that's how you would access the Heatsink Assembly in this model computer. So that's the video, guys. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, check out the FAQs below in the description. It could save you some time getting an answer. If you do need to leave me a question or comment, please do. I do try to get to those a couple times a day at least. To support the channel, please remember to like and share, subscribe if you enjoy this type of DIY tutorials, and for those of you that want to support the channel a little further, you can always leave a small donation, and there's a couple ways to do that. First, right below the video to the right-hand side, you'll see the Super Thanks button. You can click on that. You can select a tip amount here. Second way, you can use your Cash App. Find me at $PC Helper. You can leave a dollar amount, and you can even leave a little note. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.